Excellent. That man knows how to filibuster.
Well, that was a stinker.
I liked it. It was nice to see a movie where people solve their problems with words instead of bullets and chasing.
5 mouth sauces? This is always you. 3-piece white. No, ain't happening today. No.
Yeah, I'm like a loyal customer, you think?
Yeah, everybody a loyal customer. It's Harold's. Look around.
I'm gonna go down, do or die.
It is ridiculous to ask a kid to pledge allegiance to anything. They wanted me to vow loyalty to a country 6 months after I found out Santa Claus wasn't real.
A couple months ago, I made a video called Conservatives Are Ruining Satire or something. I don't remember. I change titles a lot. While I still agree with it, some people accuse me of being a liberal or a leftist or something. Here's the thing. I'm more like an onion. I have layers. But more importantly, I was outside and I touched grass before I even made a YouTube channel, so just a fair warning, some of your favorite creators going to be catching strays, but this is a more subtle version of 50 Cent's How to Rob, or I guess if you a little bit younger don't know that record, Kendrick Lamar's Control Verse. Now there's tons of shows I could talk about that were canceled before they could build an audience. I'm still mad HBO Max canceled Close Enough along with all the other animated shows fans love.
Don't make too big a deal about test scores. Candace is fine.
I wrote my name.
But there's mad folks on YouTube making videos like that. Today we'll be talking about how streaming is killing Black Hollywood, and it's kinda your fault. Before we really get started, just comment below how many of these shows you've actually watched, not heard of. How many of these shows I'm about to name you've watched? The Get Down, Southside, Raising Dion, Carmichael Show, Woke, Flatbush Misdemeanors, The Mayor, She's Gotta Have It, Lovecraft County, Grand Crew, or Winning Time. Here's the thing, all of those shows were canceled after 3 seasons or less in most cases, and all had a predominantly black cast in front of the camera. Part 1. Struggle for Black creators. Now, some of my longtime viewers remember I made 2 videos earlier in my career. One on a 1987 movie called Hollywood Shuffle, written and directed by Robert Townsend.
Let's talk to a graduate. This is Ricky Taylor. Ricky graduated from our class 3 years ago. Ricky, can you tell us what you've been doing since you've graduated?
And one on the 2000 movie, the movie released in 2000 by Spike Lee called Bamboozled.
I want a show that will make headlines. The Huxtables, Cosby, a genius, revolutionary, but we can't go down that road again.
The network does not want to see Negroes on television unless they are buffoons.
While 13 years apart, they both have the same underlying message, and it's for black people to survive, not be stars, just survive in Hollywood. We need to fit into these boxes of what people want to see. Drug dealers, sex workers, pimps, criminals, and maybe they let one of us every so often out, like the 1980s Eddie Murphy, play some different roles who would eventually become a star. And just to get this out of the way, this script is more of an organized rant. My editor is off enjoying the holidays and my time is limited, so it won't have all the bells and whistles it used to. So shout out to my patrons for helping keep this channel going. So the latest of these movies came out almost 25 years ago, Bamboozled, and not much has really changed. Sure, we've got a few black actors who definitely breaking the rule of 2. Yes, that was a Star Wars reference. Of course I like Star Wars, but Disney is actively destroying it and we have to move on. But even with multiple black actors who are big names, in 2022, of the top 10 highest grossing movies worldwide, only one had a black lead, and that's Wakanda Forever. It also happens to be a part of a $1 billion franchise. MCU and Disney can afford to spend a shit ton of money on marketing. But a closer look shows that's actually not the best argument if you wanted to make that my thesis is wrong, because yes, of those top 10 movies, 9 are either sequels or part of well-established IPs or intellectual properties. So, far as Hollywood movies, it could be said that the issue is actually Hollywood just doesn't want to take chances, and straight white males are the safest bet to all but guarantee the highest profit possible. Hell, even recent as 2007 mob movie classic American Gangster starring Denzel Washington.
So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody or you're nobody. Be right back.
Now, I know my audience pretty well. I have a lot of guys who love crime and mob movies like me. Think about some of your favorites. Scarface, Blow, you know, Blow with Johnny Depp, the Coke movie, Goodfellas, Casino. All of them tell the story of the rise and fall of the main protagonist until the eventual arrest. Notice how in American Gangsters, the story of Frank Lucas, the first major drug trafficker in the US who sold to the mob, only half the movie is about him. He shares screen time with Russell Crowe's character. I didn't give a shit about the police efforts to arrest Frank Lucas. But in some interview I read years back, it was said studios didn't have confidence white audiences will watch a movie with an all-black cast, even with Denzel fucking Washington as the lead. So white people watching this video, understand, it's not that black people think y'all too racist to support our movies. It's the mega rich executives who control it all from casting to promotion who think you're too racist to go see it. While we on the subject, this is where I have to disagree with some of my fellow black creators in the space. Earlier in 2023, Idris Elba caused a bit of a ruckus because he said he didn't want to be seen as a black actor because it puts him in a box. I didn't see a problem with that, which could be a bit ironic. I know as this video is about Black Hollywood, but hear me out. Once they put you in a box, you have this glass ceiling. No one calls Leonardo DiCaprio one of the best white actors of his generation. No one calls Martin Scorsese one of the best white directors of all time. But I know for a fact Daniel Kaluuya is referred to as one of the best black actors. And the industry sees Spike Lee as a black director. I love Spike Lee. BlacKkKlansman is one of my favorite movies of the last decade. But I know it's a ton of cinephiles who don't watch his movies because they're too angry or black. And in a way, it limits him or even being considered one of the greatest. Or it'd take decades for them to be seen as a great actor or director. Look at the way people talk about Sam Jackson or Denzel. But they're exceptions to the rule, not the rule. And I'm sure about half of you agree and half of you disagree. The thing is, black people aren't even allowed to tell stories without the assumption being, okay, so what is he trying to say about white America? I enjoy Get Out and Sorry to Bother You as much as the next person, but sometimes I just want to watch a movie like Creed and see nothing but uppercuts and hooks thrown. And I hope I live long enough where black directors are trusted enough to tell stories like Whiplash and The Menu.
Then why the fuck didn't you say so?
I've carried your fat ass for too long, Metz. I'm not gonna have you cost us a competition because your mind's on a fucking Happy Meal instead of on pitch.
And audiences are just like, wow, that was a good ass movie. Such and such is an amazing director. And just to give Idris Elba a little more slack, we have to remember, he's not a black American. He's from one of those weird ass European countries where they eat burnt sausage and half a tomato for breakfast or some shit. So they see race and honestly the whole world in a different way, and I'm not about to get into all of that. And if y'all wasn't confused enough on where I stand, remember, in a now deleted video because it got bad views, I'm the same person that argues we shouldn't have a black James Bond, but we should have a black 00 agent. Make him 008 or something. Essentially how John Wick has multiple spies in that universe. Just have multiple 00 agents depending on what area they need to go to. But moving on. Now let's talk about the small screen. Because of streaming, TV isn't what it was even 15 years ago. It's pretty agreed upon most TV shows need a good 3 seasons to truly figure themselves out. My favorite sitcom of all time, The Office, it didn't really hit its stride until about season 3. Once it became its own show separate from that British garbage that it was based off of.
The one in the green hoodie? Wow. I wonder if she's like a guidance counselor or something?
No, I don't think so.
She's like probably a tutor.
Nope.
She probably
no.
Nope.
Most Simpsons fans agree that season 4 is when the golden era truly began.
So long, dental plan! Dental plan!
Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan!
Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan!
Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan!
In the past decades, networks were more willing to get serious with a small but loyal and growing viewership a couple seasons to catch on. Hell, the creators of Breaking Bad even say that Netflix helped keep the show on the air. But when it comes to streaming shows, it's different. Look at the Netflix, the original, The Get Down. It was supposed to show the birth of hip-hop in the late 70s. Season 1 was campy but enjoyable. They then did that weird thing where we only got a part 2 with 5 episodes and reduced budget. Then the show was canceled. But the most heartbreaking is Southside.
Remove the cap.
God damn.
It's chilly, ain't it? Woo.
Well, Bluto, this is an intervention, man.
What?
It's time to let your locks go, dog.
The show seemed to never really have a chance. It originally premiered on Comedy Central. It was then moved to HBO Max for season 2, hardly promoted, and during its 3rd season, when they seemed to have gotten into a groove, it was canceled. But by season 3, I had actually started to see organic growth. People on Twitter discovering this weird, wacky show that takes place in Southside Chicago. It shows various working class and diverse black people, criminals, cops, single parents. It's about as close to a live action version of The Simpsons as I've ever seen when it comes to building out the cast. And that's not just me talking. The 2 main writers are Harvard alumni, and if you know anything about The Simpsons, you know they have huge Harvard alumni when it comes to writers. And I'm not saying the show got canceled because it had a mostly black cast and black writers, but it's other shows with longer runs that don't have as diverse of a cast and plots. I mean, the show, they did an entire episode on how serious black people take spades. On top of actual commentary on police in the black communities, predatory loans like companies with Rent-A-Center. So, as some of you may or may not know, it's a subgenre of video essays called BreadTube. I forget the origins. Anyway, the black creators took that and just started calling ourselves CornbreadTube. You get it. Now, I consider myself CornbreadTube-ish because, to put it lightly, I don't give a shit about a lot of that stuff they be talking about. Maybe being in my early 30s, or I didn't have the college-educated parents, suburb-raised, funded public school that they did. I don't know. It's not a diss. I just can't really relate to a bunch of 20-somethings making deep-ass videos and they still in their parents' health insurance, never had to worry about paying rent without a safety net. Most even still live at home. But clearly there's a huge overlap of people that make long-ass pretentious videos, the people who consume them, and hating Kenya Bears. Before I discovered the side of YouTube, all my internet friends are on Twitter, and their opinions on Kenya were either, I mean, yeah, his show is cool, I watched him a few times, but my mom and aunt love him when it comes to a show like Blackish. Oh, I like that show, it's cool, college-based drama with shows like Grownish. Now, I'd never seen an episode of Grownish, but I know a lot of the younger girls on Twitter in like their 20s enjoyed the show. Maybe it's because I never had to question my blackness. In Detroit, we're one of the few cities with large numbers of black men who are teachers and principals. And I found out a few years ago that experience that I grew up in is actually an outlier. So I didn't look to TV, cartoons, and fictional shows to reinforce my blackness. But what I can say is Kenya could be doing a lot worse. It's not like he's putting the bullshit out that 50 Cent on Stars or VH1 doing, which we'll get back to. So the same people that cry about, we don't have any good black sitcoms on TV and Kenya Barris ruined black TV.
Where's Mom? In the kitchen where a woman belongs. I'm just kidding. She's in the kitchen. It's her choice.
When the studios give us a show like Southside, none of them niggas watch it. Now you know how I know that? Because I was one of the only people tweeting about how funny the Carmichael show was when it was on NBC. Check out this cast list. Gerard Carmichael, Lil Rel, Tiffany Haddish, Loretta Devine, and David Alan Grier. In the words of Prim, they all black all-stars. On the one hand, they did get 3 seasons, but ask yourself, How many of the cornbread tubers that throw a fit every time Kenya Barris drops a movie they don't like or show and floods your timeline on why he should have his hands broken and never allowed to direct have mentioned and promoted The Carmichael Show. It checks all the leftist boxes. 2 out of 3 couples on the show are all brown or dark-skinned couples. It shows a tight-knit black family. They had episodes about gentrification, felons leaving prison, outsiders of the community saying nigga, and it's still a comedy. Now I hear you. Oh, that ain't fair, John. That show was canceled before they even had channels. Okay, well, since this chapter is about the struggle of black creators, how about this one? The Hulu show, Woke. Now keep in mind, the show premiered September 2020, meaning the first season was written, marketing, and everything done around a year before that. So it was right before America turned woke into a dog whistle and it became a cliche. So it was really bad timing as far as the name of the show.
Hey, y'all want to play Who Gonna Say the N-Word game?
I don't want to play, but my money is on the guy in the Brooks Brothers suit.
Okay, well, I don't really want to play either, but no, not him. He'll just mouth it. See.
Now, I actually made a video about this series early in my YouTube career. Again, it's a show that needed a couple seasons to figure itself out. Season 2 drops a few of the things from season 1, but they did both have amazing comedy and commentary on black culture and activism. It's low-key like if Cornbread 2 got a series, but because it wasn't a super success, it got canceled. Look around. How many of those on this app or Twitter who will run and talk about how bad a show or movie covered interracial dating or everyday black life made videos about a show like Woke? I took my video down because it bombed, and admittedly it wasn't great quality, but I still made an effort. Most of y'all never even heard of the show.
Home, and I only wanted what's best for her.
How you know what's best for my family, bitch?
Mr. Hill, there's no need to yell and cuss. One of the two will suffice.
Here's one. I didn't even hear it until after the show was canceled after the second season. Flatbush Misdemeanors. Now, I'll be honest, I watched a couple episodes in preparation for this semi-organized rant. The first couple 2 episodes, you can tell the main guys don't have any acting experience, but for what it's worth, it's pretty good, and I'm sure it gets better in season 2. But sometimes, a decent sitcom is all I want. But again, no one made videos on it. No one bigged it up and said, yo, we need to check this show out, try and promote it. So the thing is, for every Insecure in Atlanta we had, it's like 10 other black shows that didn't get a fair shake. Now, we could say Insecure was going to be relatively successful because HBO's model is pretty solid. Once you make it an air, and also shout out to Issa Rae. From what I hear, she grinded on YouTube a while before getting the show, and I'm sure a whole lot of other behind the scenes work to get her amazing show we don't know about. I actually just binged a series recently. It's just as good as you remember. And Donald Glover, yes, he is nerds and white people knew Kanye West because of Atlanta, but he also had to work his way up as a writer, a stand-up comic, second or technically third lead on the show Community, and then finally landed the show. He's not perfect. I talked about it in the past. He doesn't seem to be very good at writing for black women, but all in all, you gotta respect his hustle. Now on Twitter, the same type of people who don't support smaller black series, they have jokes because Donald Glover's now starred in the Mr. and Mrs. Smith remake with an Asian woman playing his wife. And that's where we get to the struggle of black creators. We live in a world where we have to make content that speaks to us and our people, but also palatable to a mainstream, mostly white audience. But we want the show to get picked up. No doubt, if you're a millennial that grew up around mostly black people, you're going to get jokes from a show like Southside, Insecure, and Atlanta. Non-black people, those who didn't grow up in community with black people, will miss out. But also, that balance is hard to get. You can either worry about the people that wasn't going to watch your shit no way, try and please them and maybe succeed, or have multiple shows run for 6+ seasons, parlay that into a Netflix series and movie. Yep. We talking about old Kenny Burrs again. Now, I never watched more than like 1 or 2 episodes of Blackish, mainly because I'm not 60 years old, so I'm not even in ABC's demographic. Gun in my head, I can't really name more than one single show that's aired on ABC in the last decade. But as I was previously unaware, Apparently, he's the black bourgeoisie class #1 enemy. When Black as Fuck premiered on Netflix, a majority of my Twitter homies thought it was funny as hell, especially the fellas, cause Kenya had that shit on. I'm telling you, Kenya tracksuit was fire. The show had cameos from Mike Epps. It's basically a black version of Curb Your Enthusiasm, meaning if you enjoy a show about an asshole who's also the butt of the joke, it's watchable.
I don't know whether to hate my daughter's boyfriend or really hate my daughter's boyfriend. Dude uses slang like he's some kind of fucking undercover cop. He kind of dresses like an undercover cop, too. Is he an undercover cop? I'm just gonna say he's an undercover cop.
But it could be worse. It could be. Chapter 2, Hot Ratchet Mess.
Put your fucking hands on my sister. Man, no. I never. Man, no. I would never put my hands on your sister. I swear to God, I love her with all my heart. You have the wrong guy.
I just was trying to be there for my
Cheating
friend.
on me with my uncle. This man got a beer belly.
You can either try and tell dope-ass original black stories like Insecure, Real, or She's Gotta Have It, and then hope you get renewed for a second season, or pull out old reliable nigga shit.
Nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga, nigga, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga, nigga, nigga shit.
What hoes say? This ain't ignorant shit you want? And Starz has seemingly decided they'll be the network for ignorant ass shit. With 50 Cent as the captain, now I'm not saying it's wrong with watching trashy TV. I enjoyed the first couple of seasons of Power. Then it just got to a point it felt like the writers didn't value the viewer's intelligence. Oh, you like Power? Well, here's the Junior Power about Ghost Son. 1980s Power, that's a prequel to the original show. Here's White Power starring Tommy.
You saved my dog?
Looks like it's too late, my son.
Thought God could save anybody.
His time has passed, my brother.
So what? What, you a fraud? You ain't got no power.
Not enough drug show? Here's BMF, a show so bad, I tried to give it a chance and I just had to tap out after 3 episodes. Oh, you want some drug shows about sex workers? With more ignorant shit? Here's P-Valley. But no one on YouTube is willing to critique that show the way they do every other series with the mostly male cast, because then you'll be accused of attacking black women or something. Again, if you enjoy these shows, it's fine. But notice, these are the ones they give multiple seasons to. They show black folks in the most negative light possible. Hell, the one show Starz had that semi-realistically showed the class and life differences of black people in a city like Chicago was a show called The Chi. And the writers clearly stopped caring around the time the lead Jason Mitchell was kicked off for being a creep. But it's still running, or it either just wrapped up, and the last I checked, it had pretty much become a caricature of itself. Now, fortunately, I'm not one of those people that grew up with the fly in the milk experience, so I was able to enjoy Into the Spider-Verse 2 as an actual movie and not watch it like it's fucking Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing for the 2020s. So I understand that my experience is different. But it's crazy that Spider-Man, literally the most valuable superhero IP, whose movie was going to make bank no matter what, can get video after video essay, but not a peep about a show by Boots Riley, like I'm a Virgo, one of the most creative series I've seen in a long time. Seriously, please go watch I'm a Virgo. Find a way. Please go watch it if you only take one recommendation from this video. So what am I saying? It's your fault? Chapter 3. It's kinda your fault.
There is a phenomenon called the crisis of capitalism. Under capitalism, businesses combine labor and materials to create goods or services for sale. Each year, they must make more money than the last to compete or else be crushed by competitors. They do this by lowering wages and raising prices. Now those work.
Just so it's clear, I'll get on some early 2000s rap shit. If you make YouTube videos and you offended, then yeah, I'm talking to you. But it's not just a YouTube problem, even though they keep the conversation going. Remember that garbage show called Velma came out? I got recommended countless videos ranting about how bad it was. I'm like, all y'all watched that entire show just to rant on it? But that's the game. They got views and earned a nice payout for that month. Same with The Idol. Entire channels blew up talking about how bad the show is and you shouldn't watch it, but they dropped weekly videos or 2-hour-long rants about it. But hey, I'm just y'all ghetto ass cornbread cousin. I still don't know when exactly to use what version of their and your. That's why I make videos and not write blogs. We'll let the nerds who never felt black enough in high school worry about that. You know the type thing. Man, this is a relatively free country. You want to make a video that helps them become the most streamed animated series in the history of HBO Max? Go on. But don't bitch from close enough and other shows you ignore get canceled. The negativity spreads faster on this platform. That's why I'll have to come up with a messy ass title just so you can even click on this video. Now I'm not saying don't make videos when something you went in expecting to be good with some old bullshit or slowly decline. Like one of my favorite genres of video is what ruined XYZ, like what ruined Fairly Odd Parents. That's a show I grew up on and then grew out of. And according to the cartoon niggas, at some point the show introduced a fairy, a baby fairy, a dog. Timmy had to share his fairies with his neighbor. What the hell happened between when I stopped watching and the finale, when it turns out he was actually 45 or something? Some of you all may have discovered me when I used to make videos covering the show Atlanta. I hated season 3, so I didn't do an episode by episode breakdown. It was really no point. But I can't blame viewers this time. In this relationship, you guys consume what we as the creators put out. But what I can do is ask you to ask your favorites on this platform to help promote shows that aren't getting attention instead of another, here's why this black man failed at XYZ on this movie or TV show. Then maybe we would have gotten a second season of Lovecraft Country, The Get Down, or Lil Rel Show. We can assure creators like Boots Riley get as many chances to make shows with far out ideals featuring a black cast, be as loud with the love as you all are with the hate. Oh, but John, I watched Abbott Elementary and they made video essays about that. I don't want to hear that excuse. That show comes on ABC. It has a built-in fan base of senior citizens. Ironically, it's the same network as the Black Elite's #1 enemy, Kenya Burris, had a show on for like 7 seasons. But as we go full circle, yes, it's good movies like Black Panther and Jordan Peele movies are a success. We need to support other black stories that are out of the box. I'm personally looking forward to a couple. The first is American Fiction. It's essentially a spiritual sequel to the movie Hollywood Shuffle and Bamboozled.
We believe Mr. Lee has written a bestseller.
It's a joke. The most lucrative joke you've ever told.
Now, is Stagg a pseudonym?
Yeah, Mr. Lee can't use his real name.
Is this based on your actual life?
Yeah, you think some bitch-ass college boy can come up with that shit?
No, I don't.
The writer is pressured to make something for what they call a black audience, as they say. So he writes the most ignorant ass, straight to Tubi ass book as a joke, and it's a success.
Welcome to the American Society of Magical Negroes.
The second movie is American Society of Magical Negroes. I know little about the plot besides it's a comedy based around the magical Negro trope. And if you made it this far, show me some love, subscribe, and join my Patreon or something. Drop a super chat. I'm out. Manager of the Midwest Division of Dunder Mifflin. And if you're watching this video, it means your office has been saved and will be returning to hybrid work Monday and Fridays and work from home Tuesday through Thursdays. A majority of you enjoyed work from home during the pandemic, but a sizable amount has been emailing once a week about returning to the office for 3 years straight. When shall we return to the office? Can we do voluntary return to the office? I think I left my ant farm at the office. But before we get to all of that, I have to tell you something. Your black coworkers probably hate you. For legal reasons, we had to put probably. Don't go looking around, they not in this meeting. Remember a few minutes ago we asked who'd all like to take a quick survey about 1990s UPN programming? Yeah, that was just a ruse. Now you've all signed NDAs and had your phones collected, we can get started.
A couple of them asked me if I would join their trivia team, but I know for a fact that it's only because they lost their championship last year, because apparently none of them know anything about Spike Lee movies or who the hell Bell Hooks was.
No, this is not the first time I had to do something like this. In the past, we've made videos called America Was Never Great for Non-Straight White People and The Adventures of Nosy Nelly, How to Mind Your Own Damn Business. I'm sure some of you saying, well, they don't hate me, Darius and me gang gang. See? Shit like that is why they hate you. We don't need you to try and speak Ebonics or AAVE, whatever the hell the Zoomers rebranded it. Your music opinions suck ass. Yes, Drake is the biggest hip hop artist. No, he's not a rapper, and his fan base is mostly white people and middle-aged soccer moms.
Yes, Atlanta was a good show, but I do not fuck with Donald Glover like that, especially that music. Like, what the fuck? Is he like white people's new Kanye West?
Yes, this also applies to you, Tara. This shouldn't have to be said, but don't touch Dominique's hair when she comes in with fresh box braids. Also, Linda, yes, Lexi is light-skinned with curly hair some days, unless of course she's wearing her 50-inch weave. But no matter how subtle you think you are trying to figure out what